discussion on One North End and all of the amazing things that they do.
So I'll give a brief introduction, as I just gave one in the video there, but my name is Rodney Small, and I have the pleasure of working with these awesome young people in real time and being able to work in the community and connect with, young people like yourselves. Here at One North End, the object is to really connect community to our local resources. And what we like to say is our focus is on empowering local community. And when I can do that with working with people from my community in real time, it's been a pleasure and an honor all in the same breath. So that's just a quick introduction. And we're here to give you the platform. So I want to thank the Green Schools for creating this opportunity for us. But this is about you all, and we appreciate you showing up, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thanks so much, Rodney. That was great. We can just go through. The youth leaders can introduce themselves as well. Aaliyah, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll introduce myself, and I'll also probably talk about one of the coolest experiences I feel like I've had with One North End. But yeah, so the introduction from the video, I talked a lot, so I'm just going to keep it short with the intro right now. My name's Aaliyah. I work with One North End as the ANS Lab lead to close that employment gap that disproportionately affects our communities, as well as I am also a STEAM ambassador. So I work with the green economy and look to promote climate conversations. I'm also a student at Dalhousie University, and I'm in my 4th year of medical sciences, graduating this year, so really excited for that. And I just wanted to mention that there was this really cool opportunity we had with One North End where we basically collaborated with Next Ride, which is like this electric vehicle organization. And we got to basically bring electric vehicles to community and introduce them to that technology. But we also got the chance to drive these vehicles and be inside of them. And one time, me and one of my other colleagues, Trevor, we went on the highway in a Tesla, and we got the opportunity to see how the car could really drive itself, just like the efficiency of the car. It was a really, really cool experience. And I also got to ride the car in a parade. So One North End definitely introduced me to some of these really, really cool environment technology opportunities, and I otherwise wouldn't have even probably been exposed to it. And we also, by connecting with different communities, expose them to it as well.
That sounds like so much fun. I am ridiculously jealous that you got to drive a Tesla. Sarah, would you like to just quickly introduce yourself as well?
Hi, my name is Sarah. I am a STEAM ambassador as well, promoting science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths in underrepresented communities. I am also a representative of one in our scene, that is Clean Energy and Equity Network. And yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Josh, you have unmuted yourself. You know you are next. Amazing.
Right. Thanks, Emma. Yeah, so I'm Joshua Paris. I work with One North End. I just started at the start of this calendar year. And so I work as a researcher for the ANS lab and researching employment and networking opportunities for underserved and Black youth in Nova Scotia. One of the things I also do is manage the social media pages. So I get to work on promotions of initiatives that we support, that we facilitate. And it's a lot of fun, as I get to kind of have my own creative autonomy with it, and do help to display our events in a really digestible manner for people, and in an engaging manner as well, so people are interested in the work that we do.
That's awesome. Thanks, Josh. All right, we can get into some of our questions. We have a question here asking, I believe that this would be a Rodney question. Do students need to be enrolled in science to apply for a position at One North End?
I'm gonna pass that to one of the
Sure.
seasoned veterans. We'll pass it off to Aaliyah. She's been with us for the last 3 years. I think that's an easy one for her to answer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
So even when we think of like the title of being a STEAM ambassador, we have science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. I just want to emphasize the arts. We have people coming from different disciplines to come work at One North End. And the great thing about that too is you bring diverse perspectives from different fields. So if you're outside of science and all of this other stuff, you still contribute, because at the end of the day, if you have a passion for community and a passion for advocating and just speaking to important conversations that needs to be had in underserved and underrepresented populations, One North End's the fit for you.
Awesome. Just a quick question that is coming from Mackenzie 56. We will be sending out a flyer to all of the teachers about the climate challenge. I did forget to mention that, but I would love for one of our members to speak a little bit about the climate challenge if you'd like to do that.
Sarah, you want to take that one on?
I'll share
Yeah,
my
sure.
screen as well with the flyer for the chair.
So our climate change challenge, it's for all levels of education from primary to grade 12. So it's creating any PSA, public service announcement, or any type of messaging. It could be as creative as you want it to be. It could be a video, a poster, artwork, anything that can resonate with underrepresented communities around climate change. And you do have a chance to win $2,500. Yeah, and it will be split between, elementary, junior high. So you will be competing with other elementary students if you are in elementary. And yeah, we do have a scan as well with more information with our email attached. If any of you guys have any questions, it can be done individually or as a class. And yeah.
Ed, you could also do a rap song or a poem, absolutely anything. We really want to give autonomy to the young people to come up with something and really just tap into their creativity, because I think a lot of times they're left out of the conversation and they could be extremely valuable if we include them into the conversation. So that's what this is about, really including our young people into these conversations and making sure that we can reach in areas that we otherwise wouldn't be able to reach in.
Absolutely. I love the climate challenge idea. I can't wait to see the winners and see what they come up with, because if someone writes a song, I can't wait. Awesome. Another question from 56 Mackenzie. What personal values do you have that made you want to join One North End? I love that question. What a great question.
That's a Josh question, man. Josh, I think you can take that one on, man. The first thing that comes to my mind is, this is a young man. When I met him initially, just his charisma just came across in a way that touched me, and I want to pass it off to him because he's a natural 150%. Not to take anything from the others, they are all phenomenal, to say the least.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, what really drew me to One North End, the vision behind it, the work vision. And so when I was looking for employment, in second semester of my university, this opportunity arose to work with One North End. And so once I heard about what they do, the work, how they help our Black youth, to help people like myself, to help my peers, to help the people that look like me. It's a great feeling. It's a great work that really rewarding. I think that working with One North End has helped me to connect with a lot of people, build my network, I had it on my computer. It was throwing me off. So I'm having some network difficulties. I apologize. It's helped me to build my network, and so to connect with others and really empower our community, our people, and it's really amazing to see the progress that we've had and the heights that we're reaching. It's really great to see how we can come together how we can build economic prosperity, we can build financial literacy, and as an African Nova Scotian people, we can really better society in Nova Scotia, and which I think translates further to Canada as well. I think the benefits are endless. It's a win-win for everybody, in my opinion.
And what I'll say is he's a natural networker, no doubt about it.
Definitely, I saw it firsthand. So love that. Do any of our other classes have any questions for our One North End members? They can even be, what's the most fun thing you've done at One North End? One of our questions here is, how do you see the future of One North End? And do you hope to expand outside of the HRM? We can also add in the most rewarding part of your job. I would definitely love to hear the most rewarding part.
I mean, for me, I answer the first part. Both of them really. The most rewarding part of the job is working with the young people from community and being able to connect our network of resources to community to empower our local communities. So, I mean, that's extremely rewarding to say the least. As far as expanding, I mean, the focus of our work is it started in our own backyard, hence the name One North End. We started in the North End of Halifax to address the gentrification that was happening in real time, and to really speak about the displacement of Blackness that has been a very historical part of Halifax, sad enough to say. And we can go as far back as the story of Africville, which most of us have known about. So we wanted to make sure that our youth felt value and welcomed in the community and understood that they had a connection to this community for many generations, which really empowered them in a way that the conversation started to grow from there. And from that point, we started to build a reputation on how we engaged our community in a very genuine and sincere way. And it led to doing some work with the province around the unemployment gap for our African Nova Scotian and Black youth. So, I mean, as far as expanding, it's something that, you know, we're definitely willing to explore. I always take direction from my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, so I don't try to bite off more than I can chew. But needless to say, what I will say is our climate challenge for everyone goes beyond the HRM and gives us the ability to expand in other areas. So whenever we have the opportunity to connect with other areas and really empower other underserved and underrepresented communities, we take that opportunity on full throttle.
Thank you so much for that answer, Rodney. Our 5-6 Mackenzie class seems like they have someone who wants to ask a question, which I absolutely love. So go ahead.
Emma, you're on mute too.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am also on mute. I can't hear you, so you might have to type your question in the chat, unfortunately. No problem. She wants to know about your favorite parts of your jobs. Amazing. We can have everyone answer that one since it's such a fun question. Thank you so much.
Okay, I guess I can start us off. My favorite thing about working with One North End on this job would be connecting with people, kind of similar to what I said in the video. I like meeting new people, connecting with community, and just building connections and making like meaningful relationships that last not just from that engagement, but from beyond. But another thing I really, really, really love about working at One North End is the team. Like you get to work with people that look like you, with people that have the same passions and values as you, and it's just really cool working with other students, and the energy is phenomenal. Josh spoke to this, I know, with like the our weekly meetings. We always have a really good energy. We have a one-word checkout, which we say one word that describes how we're feeling, how the day's been feeling, how the meeting made us feel. We're just really connected, and it feels like a family. It doesn't feel like work at times.
Yeah, I can go. I think what I enjoy the most about this job, because mainly it is about networking, is learning about other organizations and what they do. And when I started here, I definitely started to learn a lot about the green economy and things like that. Also, like Aaliyah said, the energy, we have a really great team. We enjoy the team meetings are really fun. And you make really good connections with teams and other organizations.
One of the most valuable aspects of working with One North End for me is the work schedule. It's very flexible. It's very accommodative, and they working with One North End allows you to prioritize your schooling while working as well. And so Ronnie's a great boss, and the team is very supportive. And so if you have a big assignment to work on, the team can cover for you. Like Ali and Sarah saying, we're like a family, and so we can be there for one another and support someone on a task that that may take too much of their time or they need to focus on school. And so the culture is it's a family like culture, and we share these experiences and these similarities, and it's a great work environment to work in. Yeah, a lot of fun.
And I'll just reiterate, I mean, working with these phenomenal young people is nothing less than a blessing in my life because I'll say Josh says the boss, but I like to say we run a flat organization and not a hierarchy. And the reason why I say a flat organization, because I learned so much from these young people. So it's not a one direction type of thing. And I think by running a flat organization, we keep that learning environment wide open, and we empower our youth in real time to have the autonomy necessary to do the work that we're employing them to do. So I mean, it's been nothing less than a blessing. They keep me on my toes, that's for sure. And yeah, it's an honor to be able to work with them.
Awesome. We have a grade 6 class that has their hand raised, so we will go to Mitchell 6, and then we will go to our chat because we have a couple questions.
Do you have to be in college or uni to join One FM?
That is one of the implications around some of the funding that we do get as a nonprofit organization, but not necessarily. So the majority of our young people are either in university or college, and the whole idea is we get to mentor them through that process. So we want to see them really accomplish their goal. We see so many of our young people, they start out on in college or university, and the sad reality is they don't end up finishing because they don't have the necessary support surrounding them to really help them through achieving their goals. So that the majority of our employees are students, but it's not necessary.
Thanks for that awesome question. And we have a double question in our chat, which I love because that was the one I was going to next. So, does One North End employees do in-person engagements in schools? Do you do community educating? Go to school? So, lots of questions there about your engagements.
I'll pass that to one of the students that were just recently in the schools doing some engagements, and they could speak about those engagements.
Okay, I'll start us off. I feel like they'll have other things to add to it as well. But yes, yes, and yes to every single part of those questions. We do engagements and community educating engagements in school. We hit all the different spots. We recently, what Rodney's talking about, have been doing engagements on the Transportation Regional Plan. In short, really what that means is how people get from point A to point B and seeing if there's any barriers for community members, for youth, from getting from point A to point B. So we would go into a lot of the high schools, the schools. We got to double back with them too, and definitely reach some other schools as well, because that'll be great conversations just to see what they thought about the current state of Halifax's transportation, whether it's meeting their needs, whether there's things we need to address. And by doing this, we could generate a report to give to the government, which helps inform new practices and policies and things like that to help better include these underserved and underrepresented communities in those conversations. Likewise, Sarah, you could probably speak to this, the engagements where you did the note taking and the solar gardens.
Yeah, like Aaliyah said, we do go into schools and do engagements, but we also go directly into communities and do engagements with youth there. We just connect with community leaders and try and gather attraction to initiate an engagement with youth. So, the last one we did that I attended was about identifying any barriers that might prevent youth from being involved in the green economy and green programs, and kind of seeing what barriers might prevent them from getting involved. And yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things, like Aaliyah said, is going into the schools. So we've gone into elementaries, junior highs, high schools, all over HRM really. Um, it's a great opportunity to go in and keep those connections, you know what I'm saying, establish those and keep growing those connections with schools in our communities, where we have easier avenues to facilitate some of our work and to receive input from them as well, what they want to hear, what they want to see, so we can better grow our organization and better support the people that we're supporting. Yeah.
Awesome. Someone else asked, what is a One North End? This particular class is located in Cape Breton, so a little bit more context is needed for those outside of Halifax that don't particularly know what our North End is.
So the North End, the name One North End comes from the community. It's a community in Halifax. It's the North End of Halifax. So we play on that name. And we'll get to answer another question I seen pop up as far as were we ever in Mulgrave Park. Well, our initial engagements before we even mobilized to the nonprofit organization known as One North End started between Oxford. Well, two of the schools we went to were Oxford, but another one was Highland Park. And a lot of the youth from Mulgrave Park either go to Oxford or majority of them go to Highland Park. But after we met with the youth in their environment, we went back down to Mulgrave Park and met with the parents in their environment, and that was at the Caring and Learning Center. So the Mulgrave Park Caring and Learning Center. And these were some of the very first engagements we've ever done before we even mobilized to the nonprofit that we are, and developed the reputation to start working with the province and other departments within the province, and even within other communities across the city. So, but the whole name comes from where we're from, and that's the North End of Halifax. If you do a quick Google search, you'll be able to find it. It's a very historical part of the city. and lots of history there. It's close to Africville. The two lower income communities that are within the north end of Halifax are Mulgrave Park and Uniacke Square, both of which, I am connected to, as my mother would have been from one and my father would have been from the other. So, I mean, the north end of Halifax has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. And it's like it's like something coming full circle to be able to have an organization called One North End that is connected directly to the community that I grew up in and that helped raise me. So to be able to give back to them and have an organization named right after the community is nothing less than a blessing, to say the least.
That is particularly special. One of our other questions from grade 5-6 Mackenzie is, what are some examples of barriers that you found in the transportation?
Ali, you want to take?
Yeah, I guess me and Sarah can definitely play off of that one with the report. So yeah, I wrote a bunch of lists because I saw that question just a little bit ago. But yeah, discrimination and attitudes of the environment of being on the bus. A lot of students expressed that they felt unsafe, whether that be the people that may have been on the bus or more particular the bus drivers was one of the concerns. Also the frequency of the buses and like the location of where bus stops were. Some students had to walk lots of maybe 30 minutes sometimes to reach a bus stop, and that bus would only come there like twice within a time frame. So if they missed it or if there was a certain engagement, they have to be there either really early to make sure that they get to that spot. Not having a vehicle was also another concern. Sometimes there's an independency that comes with having your own vehicle, being able to get to certain engagements. So they were sometimes even missing really good engagements, like whether that be sports practice or games or dance or all of those stuff, even like co-op opportunities and work. And sometimes in some cases, they weren't even able to work because of having to juggle the transportation and how to get from point A to point B. And also, not having change was another thing interesting. Think about technology and advancements. A lot of them didn't have change, so they'd have their debit on them, but then they get to the bus and they weren't able to use that. So that was another barrier that they had. And yeah, I'll stop like saying all of them. Let Sarah say some of the other ones that we have identified.
I think you mentioned too that really came to mind for me was the change. A lot of people suggested like how they have in Ontario or Toronto, the pesto cards. So that's another technology that's really convenient for people. We live in a time where people don't really carry change. Everything is electronic based. And also you mentioned the frequency of the bus and how far people have to walk. I think that was a really common one that I heard a lot from most students who live not in the inner cities and are like farther away, like in North Preston or East Preston. There's maybe one or two buses that come along. So there's a lot of students have to rely on their parents or anybody who might be able to take them where they need to go. So I think you mentioned two of the most important ones that came to mind for me.
And I'll point out another one that Aaliyah said where the vehicle was an issue, because in places like Hamas Plains, not even one or two buses go there. So it became extremely challenging for youth that didn't have access to vehicles or somebody with a vehicle to actually just get to school in some cases, because they had to get out to the main road in order to catch any type of city transportation.
Thank you so much for those answers. I just learned quite a bit from those. Thank you. Let me see if we missed any questions. Does anyone else want to touch on maybe the most interesting thing you've done with One North End? We know Aaliyah's.
I'll say,
Um,
go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Um, I just started working with One North End this calendar year, so it's only been a few months for me. Um, but one of the most interesting, or one of the highlights of working with One North End was getting the chance to attend the African Nova Scotian Gala, which was held at the Convention Center at the end of February. At the gala, there were many honorary um, dignitaries and important ministers of parliament. Um, it was a great opportunity to network, to meet some very important people. There were some great performances. The Speaker of House of Commons was there, so it was a great atmosphere to be there. It was a great opportunity, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think that's definitely the most interesting and my favorite part, but because we get the opportunity to be invited to events in different places that we might not have gotten. But yeah, those are definitely something that I enjoy a lot. And also, the electric cars were probably like my favorite time because I've never been in an electric car and it was really fun. And we did it in the North Preston Parade, and that was my first time ever attending that, so that was a lot of fun. And I think during the summer times, this was during the summer, we get to do a lot of more things as a team because it's the summertime, there isn't any school, so yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And for me, it's fun every day to be able to work with these phenomenal young people. I mean, it's when you're doing what you love to do, it doesn't become work.
Awesome. I think that is all for our questions today. I want to say thank you to all of our students and teachers who asked all of their questions and came to our lovely meeting today to meet One North End and hear about everything that they do to help our communities. Rodney, if you want to say just some final last words, I'll open up the floor to you and say thank you to you all for joining us today. I learned so much and it was amazing. Thank you so much for collaborating with us.
I mean, Emma, I want to reflect that same energy right back. I want to thank you guys for the platform. I think it's opportunities like this to connect with people like you all, the Green School, to be able to reach the masses is nothing less than phenomenal. So we want to say thank you to you guys for creating these platforms, and thank you to all the teachers who have made the time to connect their young people to this conversation. We greatly appreciate it. And we love to hear from you through our climate challenge for everyone. We think this is a great opportunity to continue and build on this phenomenal dialogue, and truly appreciate the time that you've given us today.